We are live. Welcome to Glammaz Closet, guys. Hi, happy evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday night. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. I am live from my kitchen tonight, and here is why. I get on these rolls, guys. I went online to find a meatloaf recipe, right, which should be fairly easy. I go online to find this meatloaf recipe, and what I keep coming across is like this bougie crap. I'm like, no, I need like basic meatloaf. So luckily, I remembered how my mother used to make meatloaf, and I just sort of made an adjustment for the temperature because that's really what I was looking for. I have like a general recipe. But I was so upset because I was like, you know what? Why are they making this like ridiculously bougie? And when I say ridiculously bougie, one very, very famous chef who is very well known, and if I said his name, you'd know immediately. Very famous chef, very well known, has a cooking show, the whole nine, and he's making meatloaf. Now, guys, meatloaf is a meat and potatoes kind of dish. He's making meatloaf, and he's putting chunks of sirloin and chunks of, I want to say it was prime rib, maybe, in the blender. Bougie and proud. The thing is that he's putting prime rib in the blender for meatloaf, guys. And I just think that a lot of the online chefs kind of take it a little far. Hey, Teresa. Thank you. Comfort food shouldn't be messed with. I'm with you. So I'm in my kitchen, and yes, I am in a I've been cleaning the house all day t-shirt and ponytail, and I just pulled my meatloaf out of the oven, and I will include the recipe down below, down there, as soon as I'm finished with it. But here's what it looks like so far. Here's what it looks like so far. Okay, so we're going to take now it's not quite done cooking though, which is why I left the oven on, because I put a little bit of the sauce that goes on top. I put a little bit of that on the top of it before I baked it, and then I covered it in foil. Now I'm going to put the rest of it on top and let it really thicken up and glaze up. So we're going to give that another 20 minutes without the foil on it. So here's the sauce I made. Look how fancy. It's not. It is ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, honey, about 1.5 tablespoons of Coca-Cola. Hey, Katie, I'm making meatloaf. So about 1.5 tablespoons of Coca-Cola. I added garlic because the garlic you have to have like really good flavoring in it. A little bit of Italian seasoning, and did I say Worcestershire sauce? Because I did like a few shakes of Worcestershire sauce. So ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, garlic, a little bit of Italian seasoning. You know, the cheap kind that you get at Aldi, or at the dollar store, or at Walmart, and some garlic. And that is about it. And a little bit of honey and a little Coca-Cola. But anything that you use to sweeten it up with. I've just found that brown sugar can... everybody loves the brown sugar, and I get it because it's heavy in molasses. The thing about brown sugar with me though is that sometimes it will remain a little crusty around the edges, and so I find that I prefer when I'm making meatloaf not to use brown sugar. What time is dinner? In about a half an hour. So right now I'm just going to take this, pop it on the meatloaf, pop it on what's left of the meatloaf. And like I said, I put some sauce on it earlier just to kind of bake down in there, get in the corners, make sure that my corners weren't overly meatloaf burnt. Have you ever had that happen? Where the corners of your meatloaf are like blackened? My mother, when I was growing up, used to do that, and that would annoy the crap out of me. It was so annoying. And she loved it. She loved the burnt pieces. She was like one of those people that love like the burnt popcorn and stuff. I don't know why. Either that or she was lying to us to make us feel better. So this is the meatloaf, and it's got the sauce on top. And I'm going to put it back in the oven. I've already had it in for 40 minutes at 350, sorry. So I already had it in for 40 minutes at 350. I'm just going to pop it back in the oven right now and start my potatoes. And here's my thing. Time is money. Time is money. It just is. Time is money. So I don't have the time, the patience to really mess around too much with like mashed potatoes when I'm in a kind of a hurry. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these potatoes that I washed and I'm just going to chop them in half, in quarter, and then throw them in the pot. We're going to have smashed potatoes instead of mashed potatoes, which in my opinion are just as good. And they've got the skin, which means that they've actually got a little bit of fiber in them. So I'm going to chop it in half again, chop it in a third, and into the pot. One of these is teeny tiny. It's so cute. Before I throw any more taters in, let's see. Meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Yeah, that's what I do too, Cajun. Katie, I had my granddaughter today. Oh, she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It's just, nobody's got prettier grandbabies than I do. I'm sorry, but nobody does. Big Bro Auctions, it's good to see you. Johnny, it's great to see you. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm popping it back in the oven. Look at this. Look at this tiny little potato. It's so tiny. So I'm just going to chop this in half and pop it in. And if Katie Nichols is still in the chat, I will have leftover smashed potatoes for you. And then on my smashed potatoes, okay, this one's got green around the edge, so we're not going to use that half. And then on my smashed potatoes, I just, butter equals love. Butter, garlic, salt, pepper, really not much more that you need. I know that we want to go out of our way to make things extra flavorful and special, but there are some foods that stand the test of perfection all on their own. Okay, so that is the last of our taters that we've cut up to about these sizes. And then here they are in the pot. And I'm going to cover these in water and put some salt in just so that some of the salt can boil in. And going right out of the salt barrel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'll do it for now anyway. Ow. Now, if you really want to get fancy, you can add some carrots in and smash those in too, and that would add some extra vitamins for you too. Hey, Christopher. And onto the stove, and I'm going to pop these on high. And to make them boil faster, to make anything boil faster, I'm going to pop the lid on it. So I would say excuse my kitchen in the background, but I don't owe nobody no clean kitchen. My kitchen is it's not dirty. It's just, I am a messy sort of person. So I have eclectic art and weird chickens on the top of my walls. So we have about 20 more minutes We have about 20 more minutes that we are going to wait, and then we're going to smash the potatoes if they're finished. Hopefully they'll be finished by then, and if not, we'll just wait. My husband came home from working a double, so he's actually sleeping. So waiting on dinner is not a big deal. Yeah, Christopher, I'm making meatloaf. You don't use breadcrumbs, you use Italian panko. My mother, when I was growing up, my mother would use oatmeal because you would get giant things of rolled oats with government food. So like government cheese, government peanut butter, all of the staple foods that they had, and they would get giant things of oats. So she would make her meatloaf with oatmeal. My opinion is I like breadcrumbs best. I do like panko breadcrumbs, and I like regular breadcrumbs about equally. But if need be, and when I was a young bride, if I had oatmeal and I didn't have breadcrumbs, just throw some oatmeal in there. If I didn't have any of that, I would throw some croutons in there and just kind of smash them up. And I've done, oh gosh, I've toasted bread and then just made breadcrumbs. So it just bothers me when I see somebody taking what is really a basic comfort food and a basic filling food, and one that was created, sort of from the working class, to fill bellies, right? For people who didn't have a lot of money or had no money at all. When somebody takes that and tries to turn it into a steak dinner, to me, it's like putting lipstick on a pig. You're just going to end up with a pissed off pig. It does nothing else besides piss off a pig. So that's kind of my take on it. Yeah. Now, most of the ingredients that I use, not bougie. It's like, oh, I went to the spice store and I bought a, $40 garlic. Look, right there. That was 99 cents at Walmart. Mom always used oats. Yeah, Rob, that's what I'm talking about. That's my brother, Reva. That's Lena Towers, if y'all don't know. Aisha Dancer. Hello, Kristen. We're just doing some non-bougie meatloaf because, and some of the best meatloaf that I've ever tasted was from my brother. My brother was so creative in the kitchen. I remember one time he was making tuna salad sandwiches, and we grew up with just basic comfort food. He was making tuna salad sandwiches, and I don't know, Rob, if you were out of, if we were out of relish, or if you just got creative. Probably you just got creative, but instead of relish, he put medium salsa in it to substitute for the relish, and it was the best. To this day, I make my tuna salad like that, and it's good, and it doesn't taste like I'm trying to mix tuna with tacos or anything like that. It's just good. Yeah, meatloaf and mashed taters. And I do have some frozen vegetables I can throw on the side, but you and I both know that I'm not going to eat those vegetables, and neither is my husband. Like I said, when he comes off of a double shift, you can probably hear him in the background snoring a little. Add cumin. Okay, I'll add that next time. This time, let's go through what I did. So I had a pound of hamburger, and I added about a cup and a half of breadcrumbs and an egg and about a half a cup of milk. And I squished it all together. And then I actually had some leftover onions and green peppers, and they were in the freezer. So I got those out and just sauteed them up a little bit. But you could do, you could do the same thing with like fresh onions, fresh green peppers. And it's not that it requires green peppers or onions. It doesn't, but I like that. Hi, Cherish. Hello. Hi. Mwah, it's Glammaz. How you doing, Cherish? Hi. I can't wait for Christmas. Santa said you've been very good. Hey, Swampy. So once I got that mixed up, I added pepper, salt, celery salt, Montreal steak seasoning. I love Montreal on everything. The garlic that I just showed you, and then just like a half a tablespoon of seasoned salt. But it just kind of, I don't know, just kind of spices it up for me and makes it better. So I added that. I added about a quarter cup of ketchup. And I had to take my rings off. And I had to take those off, and then I had to squish them with my hands because nothing works as well. I don't care what kind of food processor you have. Nothing works as well as squishing it with your hands to mix it all up. So I mixed it all up, and then I made the sauce, and then I put a little bit of the sauce over the top, and then I put some foil over the top and popped it in the oven for 40 minutes at 350. Now it's back in the oven. Did I put a timer on that? I did not. Let's put the timer on for 20 minutes from here. Make sure my potatoes are on high. Hey, Liv. So I mixed all of those up, and then I added the onions and the green peppers, and then squished it all together and put it in the pan. And I put it in a loaf pan. And I know that some people get a little nervous about putting it in a loaf pan, but here's the thing about meatloaf that you have to remember. Meat is not bread, so it's not going to rise. It's not going to expand that much with cooking. So yeah, meatloaf. So it's not going to expand that much with cooking. So I just put a piece of parchment paper down on the bottom. I really like to protect the bottom and protect the edges, if at all possible, from overcooking while the middle is, I want it to be cooked evenly throughout. I despise the texture of raw ground meat, but hand mixing is absolutely better, right? And you have to, I had to run the kitchen sink so that I had something actually warm that I could wash my hands with. So I used all these spices, but again, it's all stuff you find around the home, and you don't have to have Montreal steak seasoning. Most people do have seasoned salt in their cabinet, and you can pick it up. I got that from Aldi. The Spice Time celery salt, I think I picked that up at Aldi. The black pepper is from Save-A-Lot, and that was like 99 cents. And then, of course, just regular salt, which is like $1. And they're like, oh, you have to have kosher salt, and you have to have, they're like fresh bay leaves and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you don't. Why are you trying to make bougie meatloaf? Why are you trying to make bougie meatloaf? Who the hell are you impressing with meatloaf? Meatloaf is comfort food. It's winter food, right? It's just, it's what's for dinner. Everybody loves meatloaf. And nobody say I don't like meatloaf. Maybe somebody doesn't like meatloaf. But in general, it's not that they're making it more difficult than it is. And the problem that I have with that is that these brand new brides come in and they think that food is actually supposed to be prepared like this. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And they're supposed to be, perfectly groomed in a perfectly clean kitchen where even the corners don't have a dog hair. And they're supposed to be, they're supposed to have worked out that day and taken care of the kids and then done laundry and scrubbed the entire house from top to bottom because the house is supposed to be perfect. Not one dish in the sink, not one dish in the dishwasher, God forbid. And then they're supposed to have, pre-washed their vegetables on Sunday and packaged them perfectly in these clear little, it's getting ridiculous, the level of, and I'm like, sure, you've got all that time to do it. Sure. Do you have a maid? Do you have a nanny? Because what I don't see are kids who just ate half a house plant and are running dirt through your kitchen. I don't hear dogs barking in the background at, some imaginary delivery guy. I'm just not seeing real life there. And who wants that? Oh, it's dinner time. Rob, what are you having for dinner? He's probably having something good. He's a really great cook. But that's the thing. We grew up poor. So all of our meals, were cooked because we simply didn't have the funds to go out to eat. I mean, if you think about it, for a family of 6, and there were my mom, my dad, my brother, and my 2 sisters, and myself, for a family of 6 to go to McDonald's is ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. And it was even ridiculous in the 70s and 80s. So, yeah, those restock with me. Oh, I am not a fan. I'm like, okay, you're making it look like, you've got this perfect little life, but who's that guy in the background who's controlling all of this stuff? It's just, to me, it's just silly. It's silliness. It's unnecessary pressure that they're putting on new brides. And so these young women are working themselves half to death, trying to keep the house perfect, themselves perfect, the husband perfect, the kids perfect. It's BS. It's BS. You're going to lose your mind if you do that. Hi, Angie. Angie, by the way, I got your box. I was just getting ready to respond tonight. Thank you so much. Early 70s, $1 got you a drink, fries, and a burger. Yeah, but the minimum wage was $1.25, I think, right? I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's just, I mean, why make life more complicated than it is? Why would we do that to ourselves? That's awful. I have opened it, and my husband and I both just went nuts. We went nuts, Angie. We were just, you can imagine, as Packers fans, we were over the moon. It was so great. It was so great. So I have to go check on the oven. Be right back. Oh, goodness. Go get up in there. Okay, everything's going well. Reuses glass jars from salsa and banana peppers for food storage because why spend the money? That's exactly it. That's exactly it. If I need Tupperware, I usually buy it from thrift stores because I'm a reseller, and we're surrounded by Tupperware if we need it. So we do that. When I make dessert, here's a scary tip. Okay, so I have this. I have yellow cake mix and salted butter. A pound of salted butter and a box of yellow cake mix. Deluxe moist, it says. There are people who hate that word. So with the cake mix and the butter, I add 2 3/4 cup of flour, and that is it. That makes the best basic. Hey, Relics. It makes the best basic cookie dough, and you can use that and roll it out into regular cookie dough. What I do is I chop up pecans very, very finely, and I have that cookie dough, and half of that turns into like the little pecan balls, like those little Mexican wedding cookie things that you just dip in powdered sugar, bake, and then redip in powdered sugar, and they're fantastic. The other half I roll out and I make a mixture of usually chopped up walnuts and dates. I use a little bit of honey, and I use a little bit of allspice, little nutmeg, little cinnamon. And I chop it up very, very fine. And then I spread it on it. And then I roll it up and then chop it. and it makes a really good spicy cookie. And that buttery, this is like a butter cookie. It's like a basic butter cookie. So if you're in a hurry and you don't want to make butter cookies from scratch, because who in the world does, grab a box of yellow cake mix, a pound of butter. You melt half of it and then take the other half and put it into it so it's creamy, but you can melt the whole thing. You can not melt the whole thing. It's up to you. And then 2 3/4 cup of flour. And it bakes just like a cookie, like, 350, 12 minutes. That's most cookies do. Maggie Doodle, how's my thrift shop fashionista? Hello. So as you can see, my refrigerator is covered with grandchildren and grandchildren art. And now that my potatoes have started boiling, I need to take the lid off. And if you're brand new to cooking and you haven't done that before, I take the lid off so that it doesn't, overflow. If you don't take the lid off, eventually it's going to start bubbling the lid. Alex, it was only a matter of time before we progressed from talking about food to making it. So I have I have about 5 more minutes on my meatloaf. My taters are going to take a little bit longer. But yeah, what are some of the things that you do in the kitchen to save time or to save money? Hey, Mom, meatloaf and smashed potatoes. Let's see. What else do I do to save time and money? Hey, Swampy. Let's see. Well, obviously, I'm like every other, thrifty person where I buy, when I see something on a really great sale, I'll buy it on sale and then freeze it. I separate big packs of meat. Yes. Yeah, I grew up doing that. Yeah. I wonder if I have one. I had one that actually was the start of my meatloaf. No. Oh, I forgot I had that in there. And that. Okay. And the thing is that it's not. It's even if you can afford to make meatloaf with sirloin, why would you? Why would you do that? You could spend that money on your grandchildren. My granddaughter had a fundraiser and we spent $150, I think close to $150 on cookie doughs and cakes and frozen pretzels and stuff, just because, they were grandchildren and they had goals and we wanted to get them to their goals. So I think it's all about a life balance, learning to put your money where your values are. Really. Since it's just me and I have all the chores myself, I'll cook enough in one evening for 3 or 4 meals so I don't have to cook as much. Less time cooking and fewer dishes. I think that's so smart. Yeah. I have a cousin who makes so much food, and it's just he and his husband, and he'll freeze like single serving portions. He gets a lot of freezer stuff. And he'll freeze single serving portions of, things like chili and spaghetti and all sorts of stuff. And then for a month, he doesn't have to cook again. He'll just cook straight for like 2-3 days and then not cook again for a month. It's kind of incredible. I don't know if I have that kind of discipline. Okay, those are going to take a minute. I did turn off, just now I turned off the oven, and I'm just going to let that sit there and brown. And I'm going to explain to you what my grandmother, the very smartest thing my grandmother ever did. When I got married, she gave me one of these. And if you don't know, now you know it's a potato masher. And she said, hey, you're going to need that. And I said, Grandma, because I said, Grandma, when am I ever going to mash potatoes by hand? That's not, nobody does that anymore. And she's like, you're gonna want that, trust me. So I rolled my eyes because I was young and knew everything, and put it in the drawer and forgot about it until the first time I made mashed potatoes. And then I realized how handy this thing is. I use this for mashed potatoes, twice baked potatoes, helping incorporate things into a tough cookie dough. I use it for smashed sweet potatoes. I use it when I make pies, so that I can make sure that the things that I'm mixing in the mixer also have like scrape from the bottom. I use this thing so much. If you're not familiar, it's a potato masher. Get one. It's gonna be one of your favorite kitchen gadgets. And I really thought my grandma was an idiot. I go to Gerby's for most of my groceries because they'll mark stuff down a few days before the sell-by date. So I'll shop the clearance racks first and set my meals from what I can find. Smart. That's so smart. Just got home and made a gigantic burger with pico Swiss pepper jack and guac on a brioche sesame. Wow, that sounds nice. Dutch Amish Mennonite shops, great for bulk foods and fresh local produce, and your money stays local because they're in a chain store. I like that. I do love, I've never met a fruit stand or a farmer's market that I didn't like. I like the meat markdowns. Hi, Kristen, my freezer is full of it. Yeah, mine too. If I find something on sale, I snatch it up and I separate it out into smaller portions and freeze it. Like at the end of the summer, after Labor Day, there are so many brats on. I mean, you can get like a big package of like 12 brats for like $5. It's crazy. And I will break those down and freeze them 4 at a time. And that is 3 meals for like $5. It's crazy. It's all about making up your mind. Now, I haven't ever been an extreme couponer, and I would love to be able to do that. But I don't have the focus that it takes. You have to have kind of tunnel vision for that and really focus on it. And I just don't have the focus that it takes. I don't. I want the bragging rights so bad. I want the savings so bad. But I don't have the storage for that either. I don't have enough storage to, put like 12 different kinds of deodorant on one rack. And then, I don't know. I just don't have the storage for it. Be fun though. Has anybody ever done extreme couponing or tried that? I'm curious. Okay. So let me throw a fork. Probably a knife would be better. Let's see. Oh, good. Okay. My potatoes are getting more and more tender, so that is great. I did extreme couponing for a year or so, but it's hard. It's a lot of work, a lot of stores. Yeah. I saw some lady who had her kids like dumpster diving for food coupons. That's incredible. Angie, you were on a TV show? You used to teach it? No kidding. No, the TV show Extreme Couponers that ruined it for all of us. Yeah, it kind of did. They figured out your workarounds. When you give up the secrets. I used to really like double coupon days when they were a thing. Yeah, they don't have, I haven't seen those in a long, long time. I had one coupon trip to Walmart that was so good they had to pay me at the end of the checkout. It was only $1 or $2, but even the cashier was impressed. That is cool. Hey, Knockland, how you doing, baby? Just making some meatloaf. Angie, you hated that show? Yeah. Brad, you're right. A lot of A lot of places make it very hard to get the, full value on a coupon anymore. Hey, Santa Claus, I am ready for some Christmas cookies. I am. Yeah. I love those kind of trips, Aisha. I've never had that kind of a couponing trip, but I have actually fed myself, my husband, and my youngest son on like $20 a week. That is a true story. What do you have to do to meat to make it loaf? Well, you have to work it really hard, and then it'll just loaf around. Or give it drugs, I guess. I'm joking. I'm totally joking. Our local grocery store was notorious for clipping coupons and sending them in. They got caught a couple of times and fined. Oh. Well, yeah, but Aisha, that was back in like 1997 too. So, that was 1997 to about 2001. But yeah, I mean, I grew up poor. So, do you know beans are so cheap and they're full of protein. They're great for you. So we would have beans one night, beans and rice another night, mac and cheese with tuna and peas. Just basic stuff. And every single thing that I could find on clearance, I found on clearance. And I would go to like Save-A-Lot and Aldi, and Aldi before they got bougie too. I mean, you can still save a lot at Aldi, but yeah. On $20 a week now, I would have to starve. Yeah. I would starve to death. Which, I could miss a meal, but I don't want to. Okay, let's check on these potatoes once more. That is exactly what I want to see. Let's make sure they're evenly choppable. Yep. They're pretty good. Okay, we'll pull the meatloaf out of the oven. Turn off the heat on the potatoes. Gotta see the. Oh my God, you guys would not believe how good this smells. It smells so good. I'm gonna put it over here because I don't want to set it on the wet parts of the oven. That condensation from the potatoes. So in case you were wondering, this is what my meatloaf looks like. Oh my God, it smells like heaven. And shocker, did not use one single bit of sirloin. This most ridiculous thing. Ooh, bougie meatloaf. People are silly. Okay, now it's time to drain my potatoes. Let's play drain the taters. And I love this pot because it's got like the little things on the edge, a little plastic on the edge. By the way, my mother-in-law, sorry to be off camera, but I'm dealing with boiling water here. My mother-in-law actually makes potato candy. Okay. Let's throw some butter in. Put my butter over here. A little bit of sour cream. Okay. Let's throw in some sour cream. And some butter. I'm going to throw in 2 sticks of butter because I'm feeling that. Maybe 1 stick of butter. Then we'll see. They do have the sour cream too. Butter. Oh, get off of there. So my mother-in-law makes potato candy, and what she'll do, and it's like a depression recipe. What she'll do is boil a potato, and then she boils a potato, and then she mashes up that potato, and she adds butter and powdered sugar to it, and mint extract. And once she's done with that and she's got it all blended in, then she'll make it like a peppermint patty. She'll dip it in chocolate, in like a dark chocolate. Make peppermint patties. They're so good. So if you're looking for a cheap Christmas gift to give, like, I don't know, office friends, neighbors, people at church, whatever, that is an idea. I always loved being able to, every Christmas, bring into my office and send into my husband's work a big tray of homemade cookies. I was proud of it. My husband was proud of it. You know, and always sort of, I mean, it says I care enough to actually cook for you. Here comes the salt, guys, in my smashed potatoes. And here comes the pepper. Lots of pepper. So your expectation should be that I'm going to start sneezing. I do that almost immediately with pepper. And then garlic. I don't add milk because I like the sour cream instead of the milk. It just keeps it a little less runny. I will add milk if I don't have sour cream, but sour cream is kind of one of those basic things that we have in our fridge like all the time. And I'm just putting the rest of this little garlic. I have to go grocery shopping tomorrow. Okay. Salt, butter, garlic, pepper. Potato smash. So I'm just going to smash it all up, skins and all. Skins versus shirts, right? No? Does anybody remember what that even is? Sometimes I make references and I'm like, I am so old. Oh my God. Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. I like the reindeer. Thank you so much, Santa. Yay, Merry Christmas. I have your address. Save me some. You'll be there in 10 hours. I will save you some. Yeah. You know what? Craig, sometimes I wonder that myself. Santa Claus, thank you so much. Yay. Thank you. That was so kind of you. Thank you. I think you just bought like 5 extra meatloafs for my house. Like I said, I do it the cheap way. I'm not going to put sirloin in meatloaf. It just seems like the most ridiculous thing. He had like sirloin and like ribeye steak, or sirloin and there was some other beef, but it was also some bougie beef. And then he's like putting it in a blender. I'm like, you know what? They have this thing that's called hamburger. You should check that out, Mr. Alton. Oh, never mind. I didn't say his name. You didn't hear that. But yeah, check it out. If you know who I'm talking about, go check out his video. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And the people are like, puts 2 sprigs of freshly grown thyme. And it's kind of like the Barefoot Contessa, where it's like, if you don't have freshly grown thyme, you know, a store-bought will do. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you are being utterly ridiculous. I mean, it's just silly. Silly, silly, silly. So my smashed potatoes are almost smashed. And here, thing is so useful. And here's what they look like. So smashed potatoes with butter and sour cream and salt, pepper, and garlic. That's it. Nothing major. And now I'm going to bring my meatloaf over. It's still too hot to handle on its own, so let's grab this. Where's my other oven mitts? Oh, there they are. Here is the meatloaf. And I will make myself a little plate. Now this is a bougie plate from Pure One Imports. And I got these for 99 cents a piece at Goodwill. I love them. I just think they're so cute. Guys, I gotta be honest, I'm trying to get you with the presentation. I don't know if it's gonna be all that cute, but it is gonna be delicious, so count on that. Oh, son of a biscuit. Son of a nutcracker. Hang on. I'm just spilling stuff all over the place, kids. You know what happens when you get hungry and you get kind of in a hurry? It's like that. So, this is my dinner, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. I really need a food photographer. It's not as pretty as it looks in person, trust me. In person, it's pretty good. Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good. Let's try some potatoes. Oh, my God. And nobody got time for that. I love it. Don't leave cookies out for me this year, Glammaz. Leave me some of the meatloaf. You betcha. The thing is that I have dogs, Santa, so, you know, there's also an awfully good chance that you will end up. Oh, my God. This sauce turned out perfect. There is also a chance that you'll end up having to fight for your meatloaf. Sorry. Oh, club. So, that was Glammaz Kitchen Live. Children, dogs, and middle-aged ladies love me. Yeah, that is so true. Well, you can add me to the middle-aged ladies club, honey. Okay, I'm going to go eat my dinner, my meatloaf and my mashed potatoes. But I want to thank you for keeping me company while I was cooking tonight. And if this is something that you may want to see again in the future, when I do like Christmas cookies or, I don't know, New Year's Eve stuff or whatever, or when I make beans, I can show you how to make beans like Poe, people. Please let me know, and I will be happy to do it again. We'll do it again sometime. So anyway, I hope that all of you have a great evening, and I hope that no matter where you are and no matter what you do, no matter what you're having for dinner, never forget, please don't ever forget, Glammaz loves you. Have a good night. Bye.